Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a war drama film, entitled Siberian Sniper. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. At the start, two soldiers are seen spying on the German soldiers but suddenly got a shot from the Germans' base. Russian lieutenant asks his soldier Gurianov, that can he take him down from the fire come, but he is not sure about that because he is not a sniper, as he has just read the theory of it and not has done practice on how to become a sniper. So the lieutenant asks him to hold, not to fire as it could reveal their position, and as they don't have many bullets to fire back, but no worries as their reinforcements are coming soon. The new column of the Russian force is on its way and the soldiers are greeting each other and hoping that it would be snow here in the honor of their victory over the Germans, but at the same time, a soldier gets nervous by hearing some sounds of explosions, but his fellow soldiers tell him not to worry as everything will be fine. Surprisingly, a German assault helicopter comes from the air and started firing at the trucks and killed many of the Russian soldiers while they got nowhere to hide. Meanwhile, a soldier named Chiron fires a rifle gun toward the assault chopper without aiming and he gets the advantage of it as it flies away from them. The lieutenant tells the commander about the current situation, that the Germans are just playing with them with speakers and they have lost the last scout group which was sent for a mission and now they have left with only one sniper. They are waiting for the reinforcements for 2 months but no column has arrived. The chief says to him that they have taken down one German armor chopper, which is not very far from here, so they need to report this to the base and order him to hire scouts and snipers from the volunteers available there. Meanwhile, the commander is informed that the 4 soldiers have arrived while others have been killed by the German messer. Russian army radio man named Nikolai sings a song which sounds cheerful to his fellow soldier and he tells him that there are different songs for different situations, like when riding a bull or when having a long bumpy ride in a cart, after which he starts singing a song for the current situation on the request of his teammate. Chiron hears the sound of someone singing nearby and goes there to meet Nikolai, while on the other hand, Mikhail asks Nikolai to tell them about his native language and asks him about how to greet people in his language. The lieutenant calls Chiron and asks him why he didn't report aiming at the German assault chopper, to which Chiron responded that he shoot without aiming at the helicopter. Then, the lieutenant asks him to take a position and hit the second target off a total of 3 targets. Moreover, he asks Chiron where to target, so Chiron report that he will target his eye if he is a squirrel and will target the heart if he is a fascist. The lieutenant tells Chiron that the plane which he hit without aiming fell 2 kilometers away from here and the pilot of that plane is also dead. Further, he asks Chiron if he wants to be a sniper and Chiron agrees to serve his nation as a sniper proudly. Germans started firing again and all the Russian soldiers hide to save themselves, but a young nervous soldier stands up and put his life in danger by calling the Germans loudly that he will kill all of them. As expected, the Germans take aim at him and start firing, but his fellow soldier saves his life by pushing him to the ground and getting him into cover. At the same time, the lieutenant calls Chiron and gives him the rifle to take his chance when the machine gun starts getting reloading, because it takes 3 to 7 seconds to get it fully reloaded and take that time to take down the 3 soldiers who are hiding and giving cover to the German soldiers. After understanding this, Chiron first looks at their positions and he successfully kills all 3 of them when the machine gun was getting reloading. Russian lieutenant named Mr. Braun gives reports to their commander that their machine gun is brought down by a Russian sniper, and requests him to take serious actions by attacking them immediately, as they have nothing to fight, while the commander says to Mr. Braun that we can't take such risk as we have a bad experience in the past of taking Russians very lightly, and in the result, they lost their positions to some young snipers with no experience, as they have now managed to take our machine gun with 3 shots. So, it is better to wait for the tanks and reinforcements. The 2 Russian scouts, Lieutenant Shagorov and Sergeant Ponomarev, came for the aid of the Russian force. While on the other hand, Lieutenant Loboda gives Chiron and Gurianov a mission to find the spotter which is in between the area. He orders them to take down the spotter at 6 a.m. sharp, when Ivanov will fire to distract the Germans, and by taking the advantage of the noise, kill that spotter and come back. Furthermore, he tells them to use the narrow path because other ways are full of ground mines. At the same time, the 2 scouts greet Loboda and they go for a cup of tea together. Lieutenant Loboda says to Lieutenant Shagorov that 3 tanks will be enough to put Germans out of here, while Shagorov tells Loboda that there is no need for tanks because the Germans have created a base and they are putting all equipment there, and if he's not wrong they have to put Germans back with what they have now. Further, he clarifies that they are only here for sightseeing, and to report to the commander who will take the right decision on time. A German sniper spots a Russian soldier, but his teammate says him not to fire at any cost and just watch him until he comes back. On the other hand, Chiron gets ready to go for the mission and Lieutenant Loboda gives his watch to him but orders him to bring it back as it is very important to him. Gurianov asks Chiron how he hits the target. In response, Chiron tells him that he doesn't hit the target but his bullet does. On the other side, The German lieutenant asks his soldier about the snipers, and the soldier tells him he believes there is only one sniper and all 3 shots come from the same site. Further, he says that Russians don't have professionals, but they are just gifted with the brave defenders of their land. Chiron and Gurianov spot some smoke, and Chiron asks Gurianov to get in position to fire when Ivanov will start firing at sharp 6. As expected, Ivanov started firing at the exact time and the Germans came out to spot them. Taking the advantage of the noise, Gurianov fires at the enemy soldier but misses, while Chiron distracts the German sniper with his clothes and shoes, and he becomes successful in it, but the German spotter still sees Chiron and attacks him. Chiron becomes successful in taking him down quite easily. Gurianov returns back and asks about Chiron, and Chiron makes his way at the same time, having with himself the German soldier. The Russian army investigates the snatched German about the tanks and snipers they have, and he tells them that his duty is only to determine from where the firing is coming. Furthermore, he tells that there is no artillery and tanks, but they will arrive soon, and they have the sniper Schultz group who came last month. Everybody is then seen eating, where they have multiple options but could only choose one. Gurianov is practicing while Chiron comes and tells him that in order to hit the target correctly, you need to get rid of your fear first and then aim at the target while forgetting all the other things, and hit the target just in between inhaling and exhaling. Hence, when they fire, it hits the target on the spot. Russian commander calls Chiron and Gurianov and asks them what prize they want for doing such a great work. Surprisingly, Gurianov says that we need nothing because we have taken a day off already, but Chiron says that he needs a mirror, which surprises the commander, so he does as he says. The Russian lieutenant gives reports to the general that the Germans are bringing their forces, and that their assault chopper was also taken down nearby and 3 tanks will be enough to defend, but the general says that let Shagrov interrogate more, and if he finds anything else then he would talk, otherwise they have to fight from only what they have. Lieutenant Lobato calls Chiron and says that when he sends him for a mission then he have to follow the protocol and not risk his and his partner's life, after which he orders him to join Scouts group. The Scouts made a plan that they will pass the German line and will hide in the back until dawn. While at the same night, they successfully execute the plan and pass the German lines. The next morning, as they tend to cross the river and ask Chiron to give them cover, Schultz was already waiting for them, and he quickly takes down all of the Russian scouts except Chiron, who is in the cover. Chiron uses a mirror to spot his location and hits him with his one shot, but got injured himself by the blasting of ground mines, and gets caught by the Germans, who took him to their base. German Lieutenant Colonel asks Chiron to say on a radio that they are treating him nicely and giving so much food to eat. Chiron does as they says and advises his fellow soldiers that you should also visit here. Then he requests the German lieutenant to let him use the Yakut language to explain this situation to his Yakuti brothers because they don't understand the German language, and that he will tell them to stop fighting alongside Russians. On getting permission, he tells them that there is a bridge on the river and he is the only survivor. After that, the Germans puts him in jail and betrayed him as they don't give him any food and clothes. German lieutenant praises Schultz for his great job and asks him to relax from now on, and then he orders him to bring Chiron. Chiron succeeds in running from the jail but gets caught by the partisans the next morning. He then explains everything to them and says that he is from the Russian army and he is on a mission. He asks them that he needs radio to report immediately to his base, but the partisans doubt that the Germans would catch their signals too, but he convinces them that he will talk in his native language, so it would take a long time for Germans to figure it out. He then talks with Nikolai in radio language and informs him that Germans' tanks and artillery is coming. Shagrov and Lobato doubt that they should not trust Chiron, as they thinks that he's in the Germans' hands. After catching the signal, the Germans decide to attack without waiting for the tanks. On the other hand, Chiron has the task to blast the bridge so that no tanks could pass through it. Conversely, the German lieutenant asks his sniper to relocate and take down his friend Chiron and promises a retirement as his reward. The general asks him where would you find Chiron. In response, he says that he would find Chiron near the river because the river is very important to them. Chiron takes a rifle and 2 bullets because the partisans have only 2 bullets left, and then he asks them to leave as he will wait for the tank. They set a ground mine under the bridge, while on the other hand Germans begin to advance forward and the real war starts between the 2 armies. Meanwhile, the German sniper locates Chiron and fires at him, after which he moved towards his location assuming that he has been killed, but he gets a shot from his back by Chiron and dies straight away. As the tanks tend to cross the bridge, Chiron shot at the ground mine and the bridge gets demolished, leaving the tanks behind it, as there is no other way for it to reach the war zone. Additionally, Russians also now advance with their rifles and they crush the German army with their spirit and determination while they win the war. They also arrest the German lieutenant, and the hero of the whole war Chiron joins his squad once again. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.